Hi all, my name is Rebecca Durr and this is my persuasive speech for public speaking. I hope that after listening to my speech, my audience will be able to help inform teenagers and their friends of the costs of drunk driving, what solutions there are to drunk driving, and why we should get rid of it as much as possible. Let me explain. Drunk driving, also known as driving under the influence or driving while intoxicated, takes multiple lives per day. It also causes many crashes and is a huge problem in the United States. So what can be done to stop this terrible tragedy from happening any longer? I will be talking about why drunk driving is a problem, how it can be solved, and why we should want to end the problem of drunk driving. Some of you might be wondering about my credibility. My credibility is because I have a friend who has been affected by a drunk driver, and I've seen the impact that drunk driving has on the community around me and my other friends. So why should you, as my audience today, listen to me? Considering the age range of my audience, my speech applies to the majority of you, because research has shown that the younger generation is more at risk for being negatively affected by drunk drivers. DrivingLaw.com explains that drunk driving is a problem in the United States because it kills 8 teenagers per day and causes 17% of all crashes. This means that almost 3,000 teens are being killed each year in accidents that could have been stopped before they even happened. In addition, this is even crazier because drivers under 21, the legal age for drinking, make up only 10% of all drivers. What is even worse is that more teens are dying in crashes because they weren't wearing the seatbelt. DrivingLaws.org emphasized this point because about 74% of drunk drivers who crashed weren't wearing any seatbelts. These accidents could have been prevented. Police are arresting many more drunk drivers than a few years ago, but they still aren't properly trained on dealing with teenagers who are driving while drunk. They also are ill-equipped to stop those same teenagers from becoming another statistic, another DUI to be recorded and forgotten. So what solutions are there to this problem? For starters, police can be taught more about how to deal with teenage drivers who have been DUI'd. They can then inform those teenagers about the real consequences that drunk driving has on everybody and make sure they understand the real issue of what it means to be driving and drunk. In addition, teens should have their parents ensure that they don't go driving again while drunk, and at the very least, be grounded by their parents. In this case, I think that scaring the teenage drivers into seeing the truth about the dangers of drunk driving works the best. And this technique should be implemented by police and parents alike. However, there are some drawbacks in that teenagers are more likely to rebel if their parents are punishing them. So, the parents need to be careful and watch their children very closely for any signs of rebellion. There should also be support from the surrounding community. Teachers, family, friends, and people who have been directly affected by drunk drivers should speak to teens and explain how everybody is hurt in some way by drunk drivers. Statistics should also be mentioned so that teenagers can get some perspective on how big of a problem drunk driving is around America. Finally, parents should realize how peer pressure and the fact that teenagers are impulsive is a huge factor. Peer pressure causes most teens to cave into their friends' ideas about drinking, even if they don't necessarily want to have a drink. However, they still want to fit in and be accepted, so they do it anyway. In addition, teenagers are teenagers. They think that they are practically invincible, that all the stuff on the news won't be them, that they will be smarter than that. One website, MADD, a helpline, summed it up pretty well. Teens who drink do crazy things. Drinking inhibits good thinking skills, and reason goes out the window. According to Murphy's Law, what can go wrong will go wrong. This is a very real fact in teenage life, especially if there is alcohol involved. So, we really need to teach teenagers that just because their friends do it, that doesn't mean it's okay. Also, they aren't superheroes. They will crash and burn. Now, some of you might be wondering why I'm asking you to help end drunk driving. I'm asking you because in the future, your children will be affected, and you will be affected multiple times. However, if this generation takes a stand today against drunk driving, then parents in the future won't have to worry about the kids never making it home from a party, or from work, or from a friend's house. We would also have fewer deaths total, which is pretty important considering that everybody has a specific place in this world. We're all supposed to play a role, and that important role can be cut short if a teenager is killed by a drunk driver, or if they crash because they have been drinking. With fewer deaths related to drunk driving, laws wouldn't be as strict, since there wouldn't be as great a need for laws as there currently is right now. This is a bonus for everybody, because it means that teenagers and young adults have been taught about what it means to be drinking and driving, and why it impacts everybody around them so much. In conclusion, drinking while intoxicated is dangerous and should be stopped as soon as possible. This can happen by educating the police and the community that we live in about the dangers of drunk driving, and so hopefully decrease the number of deaths in the United States. And finally, we want to end drunk driving because there will be less stress, fewer charges of vehicular manslaughter, and a safer community for our future children to live in. I hope that you will remember this speech, because at some point in your life, you will be affected by drunk driving. So, this speech is meant to persuade you that something more needs to be done by the communities to stop teenagers from getting drunk and still driving. Now, you might be asking yourself, what can I do to help teenagers fight against drunk driving? You should talk to people you know and make sure that they understand the implications and dangers of drunk driving. Also, if somebody you know has been affected personally by a drunk driver, ask them to share with teenagers about their experience and how it changed their life. Good luck making a difference in the world!